So what really is emotional intelligence? I know there's so many definitions of emotional intelligence out there. So rather than define it for you, why not let's describe it? And then later, I would give you one or two definitions of what emotional intelligence is. So let us imagine that you wake up in the morning. Of course, you've got a lot of expectations. You have expectations about how things should unfold, about how your children should behave, about what your husband should do, about what the driver should do. I mean, you set out of the house, you have expectation about how people should drive, about what time you want to get to the office. You have expectation about, how you want things to happen in the course of the day. The report that should come, the mail that should come in, what the customer should do, what your subordinates, colleagues, superiors should do in the office. And if you don't work in the office, maybe you run a business, marketplace, you've got expectations about, what people should do around you. And as the day begins to unfold, certain things begin to unfold in ways that are contrary to your expectations. And your expectations are endless. In fact, beyond your expectations, just as a person, you've got preferences and prejudices. You know this is not supposed to be like that. That shouldn't work like this. This is what you prefer. And we all as humans, as we grow up in life, we've built these preferences and prejudices. Now, as your day begins to unfold, people are slower than you thought, and the wrong mail comes in. And then the mail comes in that is addressing an issue in a way that you never knew. Somebody driving on the road recklessly, and somebody being disrespectful, and maybe your value is that you're big on respect. Maybe your husband is not as sensitive as you expect him to be. And all of these things begin to unfold in your life. And then you start sustaining some emotions. All of a sudden you are irritated, but you didn't plan to have an irritating day. You are annoyed, you're sad, you're pensive, you're angry, and you're feeling frustrated. Of course, maybe you're happy in certain moments, you're excited in certain moments. And in the midst of all of this flush of emotions, you need to take an action. You need to instruct. You need to show an expression, maybe in a meeting. You need to refuse someone. You need to reply a mail. You need to send a mail. You need to eat. You need to drive on the right lane. You need to do certain things in the midst of all of these emotions that you did not plan to experience. Now, those who practice emotional intelligence are those who are able to take the appropriate actions in the midst of all of these emotions that are unexpected. And those who don't practice emotional intelligence will take actions that are regrettable. So are you able to give the right body language in the midst of the emotions that you feel? Are you able to say the right words? Are you able to express yourself without yelling or insulting or trampling on people? Are you able to reply the mail in a civil way, not because of the emotions that you're feeling? Are you able to do the right things in the midst of all of those emotions? When you practice emotional intelligence, you'll be able to choose the optimal action per time. And when I say optimal does not mean what is right all the time. It really means what is most appropriate. Appropriate for you, appropriate for the situation, and for everybody in that environment at that time. Those who don't practice emotional intelligence, they will take actions that they will regret. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is simply being smart with your emotions. Imagine being smart with the emotion that you're feeling at a particular point in time. A synonym for smart would be to be wise, to be clever, to be witty. So I would say emotional intelligence means being wise in your anger, being clever in your frustration. Imagine what it means to be frustrated, but you're still clever. It means being brilliant in the midst of your sadness or your anger. That's what emotional intelligence means. Being smart with your emotions. Another way to define it would be the capacity to understand what you feel, what is going on within you, what you see in the situation, understand the environment, and use that understanding to guard your thoughts and guard your feelings, and then take an action again that is appropriate in the midst of the situation that you're in. Not everybody is able to do that, but as you practice emotional intelligence, especially from a learnable and measurable perspective, you begin to see yourself grow, and you have the capacity to act appropriately in the midst of whatever is happening to you. Let me end with an example. Imagine that you are in a meeting in the office, and the meeting is a very, very tough one, where you and your business leaders are discussing, things that are not going on well in the environment of the business. Maybe you're not selling enough. And then in the midst of that meeting, your phone vibrates. You look at it down there, and then you receive a money alert in the midst of a heated meeting. How are you going to act? I believe it will be inappropriate for you to jump for joy and say, yeah, I got the money in the midst of that meeting. No, it will be inappropriate. And it's probably going to be inappropriate for you to start smiling in the midst of a heated meeting. But when you are able to look at the phone and you see an alert of money, and then you still keep calm and you still focus on the meeting that is going on, it means that you have managed your emotions. In that instance, if we could open you up, we would see joy because you are excited as a result of the money that you've received. But if we look at your face, we see calm, and we see somebody who is listening. You have been smart with your emotions. If you can do that with the alert that you receive, managing your excitement, then you can do that with anger. You can do that with frustration. We can do that with sadness, and you are able to manage the emotion that you feel and take the right and appropriate action. When you practice emotional intelligence, those are the kind of competencies you would grow. You'll be resilient in the midst of situations that are beating you, and you'll be able to keep pushing. You'll be optimistic in the midst of situations that don't look good. You'll be able to say the right things, take the right action. And after a while, people will begin to look at you and say, wow, there's something about that guy. There's something about that lady. No matter what the situation is, the person is still together. It is because that person is able to manage the feelings that is inspired from within and choose what to do irrespective of that feeling. That is what it means to be emotionally intelligent.